Kitch here from SoundFlow. Just thought I would do another live coding session. We had Anthony reach out in the forum, and he was asking about some functionality, and I thought it might be good for a video. So we're now doing some live coding sessions that you can find in YouTube. We've got a live coding sessions playlist under SoundFlow, so check them out, where we walk through a whole bunch of things that you can do programmatically or stuff just generally with SoundFlow. So in this question that Anthony has asked, he said, recalling track preset only works in the edit window. Yes, that's correct. It only works in the edit window. A lot of the SoundFlow functions that are inbuilt in SoundFlow only currently work in the edit window, but there's a way around this, and that is to switch to the edit window and then return back to the window you were at previously. And there's simple ways of doing this, where you can directly set where you want which window you want to switch to, and then directly set which window you want to switch back to. But depending on what window you're at, it'd be great to for it to automatically return to whatever window you're at. So I thought I'd walk through a setup and restore function, creating a setup and restore function that will navigate to the edit window and then return back to whatever window you were at before. So if I switch over to Pro Tools, I'll just show you my setup here. I've got the edit window. I've also got a mix window open and the MIDI editor window. So what we're going to do is we're going to work out what the current window is, the title, and split it by the colon and space, and then we'll use that to know what window we were originally on. And then we'll switch to the edit window and then switch back to whatever window it was on before. So let's go into SoundFlow and get started. So I'm in my demo package here, but you can create a package in here, and then I'm just going to click the plus button here and click script, and let's call this restore window, restore Pro Tools window, like so. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is in our script we want to activate Pro Tools main window. So to do that, I'm going to go SF, which stands for SoundFlow, UI, user interface, Pro Tools, which is the app we're controlling, and then app activate main window. So if I run that, it'll just switch over to Pro Tools. So as you can see here, I'm in the mix window. So if I'm in the mix window, I need to work out that the frontmost window in Pro Tools. So the good thing about app activate main window, it's going to activate one of the main windows, which are the ones that we want to target. And when we're switching things in Pro Tools from the Windows menu, the names are reflected. So mix, edit, and MIDI editor here. So what we're going to do is we're going to get the windows and see what windows we have. So I'm going to go sf.ui.protools.windows, like so, and let's map out what the windows are. So I'm going to go map, and so for each window, and we'll just do that like so. And I'll go log at the front here, and so now if I run this, we're going to get let's clear that out again. So if I run this, we are going to get a list, an array of the windows. And as you can see, the first window is mix, and the second window is edit, and the third window is MIDI editor. So whatever one is in front first is the one that is going to that we're going to target or get the information from. So right now, if I was in the edit window and I ran this again, as you can see, the edit window is first. So now we just need to get that first window. So to get the first window, I'm going to change the mapping here, and I'm just going to write first. And so if I clear out the log and run that again, switch back, as you can see, we've got the edit window. But really all we need is the word edit, because that's going to be great for referencing or for switching back to the mix edit or MIDI editor window from the Windows menu here. So to get that, we're first of all going to split the window title. So we'll get the window title first. So to get the window title, we're just going to go title dot value. And so if I run that, as you can see, it comes up with edit and test. So now that we've got that, all we need is the first part here, the edit. And so we're going to split the title by colon and space. So let's look at that. Dot split and colon and space. So if I run this now, it creates an array of the items that it's split by. So the first part of it was this, the split is this, and then the second part of it is that. So it creates an array here, but all we want is the first one of the array. So the first one in the array is going to be the 0 index. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a 0 in here. And so now if I run this, it's going to come back with edit. So that's the value that we want. So now we're going to be using this twice in the script. Once to get the original name of the frontmost window, and then again after we perform the action, we're going to want to check to see if it's switched to the new window. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a function out of this. So I'm going to remove the log here, and I'm going to create a function. So I'm going to go function, and let's call this function get main window title. That's a good name, I think. And in that function, we're just going to move that into the function, and then I use Option-Shift-F to format so it looks all good. And because this gets the main window title that we want, we're just going to return from that function. The title. So if I now just go log get main window title, and because that's a function now, we've got to call it with parentheses, these two parentheses there, open and close parentheses. And if I clear out the log and I run that now, as you can see, it comes back with edit, which is great. So now we're going to create what's called a setup and restore function with a callback to run whatever we want to run. So this is a little bit more in depth, but hopefully you can follow along and understand it. But for sure, ask questions in the forum thread if you do have any questions. Okay, so I'm going to create a function. And the function is going to be setup and restore. And okay, so we've got a function there like that. And what we're going to do is we're going to pass a function into this function. But before we get into that, let's just set this up a little bit. Instead of having the Activate Pro Tools main window here, I'm going to move that down into the setup and restore function, and then Option-Shift-F to format, because this is the first step of the function, and then this will be called later. So let's see, let's get the main title. So the title of the original Pro Tools window. So probably a good name for that would be original window title. Window title equals, and then what we want to do is we want to get the window title. So that's going to store the original window title, so the frontmost window, into this variable here. And I've set that up as a const because it's not going to change. If you need it, if you're working with a variable that you think is going to change, you can use let and that will allow you to reassign it later. So, but for now, let's just go const. Okay, so now we've got that. Now we want to navigate to the edit window in Pro Tools. So to do that, we would click the Windows menu and then click Edit. So if I was on the mix window here, we'd want to click the edit, so Window Edit. So to do that, I'm going to go sf.ui.protools, and then I'm just going to go menu click, and that will give us the menu click method. And then on the next line, I'm going to choose menu path. And menu path, if I roll over menu path here, you can see that it takes a string array. So a string array up here. So what we need to do is to open and close square brackets. And in there, the first step of the path to what we want to do is going to be window here. And we've got to make sure we get the capitalization and any special characters. So window. And then after that, we have edit. So we go edit, edit, there we go, like so. So now here, I'm going to just put a comment here, and I do that by doing 2 forward slashes, and I'm going to go switch to edit window. Okay. So now that we've done that, we're going to put in what's called a try catch finally block, and that means that anything in the try block will run, and if it fails, it doesn't matter what happens. Or if it fails, it'll go to the catch block. Even if it fails or not, it'll always run the finally block. So to do that, we're going to go try, open and close curly braces, and then we're going to so this is the try block is here, and then we got catch, and the catch block we need to pass in an error. So I'm just going to call it ERR for error, and then after that we've got finally, like so, and then we've got the finally block. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually pass a function into this function, which is a little bit different than just passing normal arguments, but we can pass a full function to run when it gets to the try block. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to call that a callback. And then so when we get to the try block, I'm going to run the callback. So that's going to run the callback like so. So then in the catch block, we can throw an error, throw the error, and then in the finally block, oops, like that, in the finally block, we are going to do some other stuff. So I'm just going to spread this out a little bit so it's a bit easier to read. Move that down, move that down. Okay, so in the finally block, we need to see if the original window title has changed, or even that the original window title does not equal edit. So what we're going to do there is we're going to go, we'll do an if, well first of all let's get the switched window title. So I'm going to go const, and I'm going to go switched window title, and then we're going to get the main window title using the function that we created up here. And so as you can see, this function here is being reused in 2 spots, so that's why I made it into a function rather than writing the whole line out and putting it down in here. And that means if you ever need to update it, you only need to update it in one place. So now what we need to do is we need to say if switched window title does not equal the original window title, we want to switch back to the original window title. So as we had here, I'm going to copy that and paste this down in here and format that using the Option Shift F. So now this window title, we want this to be what the original window title was. So I'm going to delete that out and I'm going to write original window title like so. So because this is a simple one property, I'm just going to put this all onto one line and this all onto one line. It just makes it easier to read for me. Just going to fix up some of my stuff here. Okay, that's like that. So now, essentially, the script will activate Pro Tools main window. It'll get the original window title. It'll switch to the edit window. Then it will try running the callback, which I'll go through in a moment. And if it fails, it'll throw an error. But it will always run the finally block here. And so it'll say, it'll get the switched window title, so which means that it will be the edit window. So this is probably unnecessary. It should just say if the original window or the get the main window title, if that doesn't equal the edit window, but this will also work as well. So so switched window title, get main window title. So if the switch window title does not equal the original window title, set it back to the original window title by clicking Window and then the original window title. So now we need to call this function, and we need to call this function with whatever we want to do. So I'm just going to write some code down here, some demo code, just so we can put it in place. So I'm going to say demo code. So for demonstration purposes only, and we'll go log. This is the callback function running, like that. So and then I'm just going to put a wait here. So sf.wait, and I'm going to specify it to be an interval of 2,000 milliseconds, which is 2 seconds. So now what we need to do is we need to run the setup and restore and have the callback run. So this will be the callback code run within that. So we could make this into a function, but just for simplicity, I'm just going to call the, I'm just going to do it all in line. So I'm going to go setup and restore. And the way to do this now is I'm going to do open and close curly braces, and then we're going to pass in a function using an arrow function like this, and then open and close curly braces like so. So now we have setup and restore, and we're going to pass the function into here. So to do that, we're going to move that code all up into here, and then format that, and you can also format that with the format button here. And so now this should, without testing along the way, this should get the main window title, or activate Pro Tools main window, get the main window title, switch to the edit window, run the callback, which is all of this information in here, and then once that's done, it runs the finally block, and if it's not on the original window title, it will switch back to the original window title. So that means that it will work whether it's in, just depending on what window you're in Pro Tools. So now if I run this, so let's see what window I've got in Pro Tools. So I'm on the mix window here. So let's add a keyboard shortcut here. I'm going to go record. I'm going to use Control X because, and as you can see, there's a conflict, but I'm just going to remove this. So we use Control X. So if I'm in Pro Tools now and I run Control X, it switches over. This is the callback function running, and then switches back to the mix window. So if I'm in the MIDI editor window and I run Control X again, it switches over to the edit window, runs the callback function, and then switches back to the MIDI editor. So anything that you need to do in there, you can run that any way you want. So you could also make into a function, the callback function into a function. So if, for example, in Anthony's example here, we've got a script that we'd like to run. So if I place that into a function, so I go function, and let's call this main. Actually, let's call it recall track preset. Preset like that, and then let's push in the track preset path. Track preset preset path, and inside there we'll paste in the code that we had. And it's actually good to have this this line of code at the top of the script as well. So if I go to the top of the script, this basically is a bailout early clause. So it's basically saying if Pro Tools isn't running, then throw an error saying Pro Tools is not running. So now that we've got this recall track preset, what we're going to do instead of passing the or running the code within this structure, I'm just going to remove all of this here, and I'm going to say recall track preset like that, and then we can pass in. So you'd need to identify what the track preset path is. So I'd go const, and actually I'd probably put that at the top of the script so that it gets the track preset. So yeah, so that's essentially how it would work. And yeah, if you have any questions about that, I know it's a little bit more in depth than usual, but these kind of functions are great. The setup and restore functions are really great for anything that you need to set up at the start of a script and revert back settings to how it was at the beginning. So it's like setting up, restoring, makes it great for the user because they know that they're back to exactly where they were when they started the script. Okay, so upon finishing the video, I realized that the script didn't work. So back to the drawing board. We do these videos, mistakes and all, and obviously I made a mistake, but that's all good. So right now we've got the function that's recalling the track preset via the setup and restore. However, we've got to pass in the track preset. So first of all, we've got to create the track preset path. So I'm going to go to the top of the script here, and I'm going to go const and track preset path equals, and let's find a preset that we want to set. So if we head over to Pro Tools, so if I right click here, I go to recall track presets. We've got Avid, and then guitars, and then clean. Let's try that path. So head back here. So we've got Avid, guitars, and clean, and EAN. And you probably noticed that I'd left out the first part of the path, and that's the recall track presets. And the reason that I left that out is that in the function here, we've already specified that the first part of that path is recall track presets, recall track preset. So then we're going to pass the remainder of it in, which will be this path here. So now what we're going to do is, looking at this script, there may be one small issue, and this is just something that I know from doing using SoundFlow a bit, is that when recalling a track preset, if the track preset takes a bit of time to recall, we might need to wait for the modals or the modals to disappear. So the modals are the progress bar when things are loading. So whenever you're processing Audio Suite plugins, you get a modal saying the processed time left. So we've got to wait for the modals to disappear. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put here sf.ui.protools and modal. Hang on, what is it? sf.ui. It's wait for no modal. That's what it's called. Wait for no modals. And so now that we've done that, we can. And I also see that there might be an issue if your computer is really fast. It may happen so quickly that it doesn't even see the modal. So I'm just going to put a tiny wait time here. So sf.ui.protool. sf.wait actually, and then I'll specify the milliseconds to be 100 milliseconds like that. So now we've got to pass the track preset path into the recall track preset function. So because we're going to call this, I'm going to call it like this, and then into here I'll pass that. So and also I can just pass that through there as well. I think that should work. So it's saying set up and restore, get the track preset path and push it into here and run that track preset path. Okay, so let's have a look. Let's make sure we've got everything okay here. We've got the track preset path, and so if I head on over to Pro Tools now, I'll switch over to the MIDI editor window and I'll run Control X. Error cannot. Okay, so I think I've done this incorrectly. That's got to go. Okay, so now if I go back again, let's try that one more time. Great. And as you can see in Pro Tools, if I head over to the audio track 3, it's got that preset in there. So we can try it again with this one. We'll go to the mix window. I'll go Control X. It'll go over, import that, and then it's done. So now we've got a working script. And Anthony, I hope that helps. And anyone else that is wanting to use set up and restore scripts, hopefully this helps you too. Thanks.